What was your favorite scene in the play?
I don't know. I had moments in each scene that I just loved. Like when we were down here, the whole like, Buddy bowed his head, yes sir, no sir. We always make fun of that because this one time in rehearsal I also missed that entire thing and it was my favorite part. But I honestly think that my favorite part of the play is the one part that hit me the most, the prison scene. Just because I feel like if it hit me that hard, then maybe it's going to touch other people and maybe they'll understand that this is important.
I dedicated it to people who grapple with survivor's guilt. So I felt that that was something that I wanted to be cognizant of and pay respect to because it does have a lot. So her journey was very interesting to me. But my favorite scene was actually, and I've said this before, something that Patria did. And that's, she says, how many boys have to die in this war that is no war? And that really speaks to me. This country is in flux, and the whole world is, right? So I feel that it's imperative that we really listen to the signs while they're happening. So every time we do this show, there are moments that I can see echoed all over the world and in our lives today. So whenever I hear certain words, I'm like, yep, that's just happening on Facebook. You know, it's all happening. It's all happening.
No, you know, I would actually echo kind of what Monika just said. I think that you look at how scary things are in this play, the realistic moments, and it's not that far off. You know, I mean, you see it in the news every night. And I think that's something that we need to keep reminding ourselves. We can't let it slip past us.
Yeah, it's very hard to pick a favorite part, but it is actually in line with both of those things because I think that for me, running through this play is this question of what makes us eventually stand up and do something. How does that happen, and when does that moment come in our own lives, and what does that even mean for us? What does it mean? Like, what if I were to step up and try to change something? How would I do that? What would I even do? Would I write? Would I, is it about going to protest? Is it about what is that action? And so for me, it's kind of abstract, but that's this feeling of Mate and Minerva moving in those panels on Patria, and that sense of that moment when Patria finally steps forward and she joins on, to me is kind of, it signifies that for me, and so that moment in the play is always very strong for me.
For me, it's the dance scene with Trujillo. For me, that feels like the inciting incident of the show where things really get started, pick up, and it's like, oh, okay, now we have a pure conflict. Now we see the enemy. You know. Anyway, so it's for me that scene is my favorite to watch because it's got such a strong undertone of conflict to it that's trying to dance this line of, yes, I'm being polite, I'm dancing with you because otherwise you'll have my father's head chopped off. But also saying, but I'm going to become a lawyer and sue you or something. And so that tango, you know, that's happening between them is so palpable and interesting to me. Plus, it's got freaking gorgeous lighting. I love the lighting.
Yes.
Scene. And it, for me, as a sound designer, it was a challenging scene to do sound for because finding just the right music.
I'd have to say my favorite scene is the ending scene where as Rufino, the driver, where he dies. Because I feel like this whole play, I play all these male roles, and it's like I'm not a big deal. Like I think that's part of the reason why they had one guy play all these roles. It's a big play about these four women, right? These powerful women who changed the nation. So when I come in as Rufino to play this last character and he dies, some people may wonder, oh, like, why'd they kill him, right? So clarifying the fact that I'm not important. What I had nothing to do with this movement, right? It's the mariposas, it's the sisters, these women who came up and changed this nation. I was the driver. They just killed me because they didn't want anyone left alive, which I feel like represents most of the characters in this show. I mean, as I play them, it's not about my characters, it's about these women, which is why I like that last scene a lot.
I think my favorite part is the summer scene when we're all sitting around talking about how it's hot. My brother, my sister, and I, we like get on each other like that, so it felt like real close to home, and arguing with my siblings felt natural, and I think that's why I like it more.
I actually picked 3 spots that I like the best. The first one is when we're dancing all together as sisters, because my sisters and I are very close, so we played together a lot when we were little. And the second one I like is when I get to come out in that party dress that looks ridiculous. And I'm like, I'm going to be amazing, because I can relate to that in my real life. The secret right there. I'm going to be amazing. Just kidding. But that's my second favorite part. And then my third one was when Mate makes her decision to join the revolution. I think as a person, I want to be the kind of person who will stand up for what they do.
I think the whole play is beautiful, but I think the opening, when the DJ is, you can see his silhouette. The first word he says is muévete, which is move. That's just like the whole tone of the play, in my opinion. But as the play progresses, it breaks my heart when I have to do the scene where I have to how many boys will have to see die? Like when they're like spinning around the thing, it just breaks my heart because it's still relevant.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be happening, but it is.
In the sanctuary.